It's not about the Benjamins. Gotta learn to go within. Gotta learn that you is him. Gotta connect with that spirit. It's the only way that you're gonna hear what the spirit's gotta say. You gotta fast to slow down this life on the low. It's the only way to glow. Can't be spiritually blind. You gotta learn how to mind what's inside. You gotta get the spirit in line. Tell them that we bout to climb. Yeah, we bout to come divine. Tell them. Blessings, family. Welcome to the journey. I'm Jeshron, the Promised Land Consultant. It's good to be with you. I'm glad you tuned in to the channel. I'm a Promised Land Consultant. All the videos that I do are made to motivate you to your hopes, your dreams, your aspirations, that place that I call your spiritual promised land, the land of Canaan. And the message for today is you're not living right if you're not living for the second life. And this message is just crafted to help you refocus as you are walking and progressing towards your promised land, to refocus on simply making choices that will give you the best outcome when you enter the second life. That this life is temporal, that this life passes away, and we're going to look at some of the traps that you can fall into if you lose focus on the prize, because we got to keep our eyes on the prize, which is the second life, right? Living in that second life with the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and hearing, "Job well done, my good and faithful servant." So now that we got that out of the way, let's get to my mission statement that I say every single video, because it keeps me focused, it keeps me aligned, and it's simply, I'm dedicated to serving you from sun up to sun down. Dedicated, family, to seeing you planted, growing, and manifesting in your promised land, family. That's what I'm all about. That's what I want. That's what I need, is to see you establish, conquering, and subduing the promised land that was meant for you, so you can have optimal growth in your life. That's what we're here for. No going back to Egypt, no going back to the wilderness. The promised land is what we're taking hold of, and the promises that we will put before us. And as we're moving along that journey, I believe if you're not living for the second life, then you are not living right, and you may not hear, "Job well done, my good and faithful servant." Let me take you to where I pulled this message from. So this message I found started way back in the first century, somewhere between 30 and 33 AD. And basically there was a teacher that was teaching in the plaza of Israel, and he was teaching the Pharisees, the Sadducees, and a couple of other groups. And one of the Pharisees stood up to test the teacher, to ask him a question to see if he could answer him correctly. And the man said to the teacher, "Teacher, is it right to pay tribute or taxes to Caesar?" And the teacher said to him, he replied, "Give me a coin, give me the tribute that you would pay to Caesar." And he said, "Whose image is on that?" And the student said, "Caesar." And then the teacher replied to the student with the following: "Give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar, and give to God what belongs to God." And I think this is a brilliant statement that can help us calibrate as we are walking and moving and subduing the giants and pulling down high walls on our walk to our promised land. If we remember to give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar and give to God what belongs to God, we'll be living right for that second life. But so many times in this life, many of us are heavy on one side of the scales, but have no weight on the other side of the scale. So let me show you what I mean with the next slide, basically. I don't know what I just did right there, but anyway, in the next slide, I should have put scales on here, but I didn't. But anyway, living for Caesar in abundance would be living for your career, living for material gain, living for nationalism. If you're living for all those things, if that's the focus of your day, if that's what you give all your energy to, you are serving Caesar more than you are serving your creator, which in my instance, or I believe most of our instances, is the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Now, there is something to give to Caesar, which is the money that has his face on it that so many people hoard, that so many people hold on to, that so many people love. That money belongs to Caesar. Give it to Caesar. All the taxes that he requires of you, give it to him. Don't do the loopholes. Don't try and get out of it. Give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar. That's part of your duty. The teacher, Jesus, who was a teacher in that story, he tells you to do that. Give it to Caesar. But that's your duty right there. Give to Caesar that money. That's it. Your time, your attention, your focus, that goes to the Most High. Those intangible goods that are worth more than anything else on this earth belong to the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. When you wake up in the morning, in the middle of your day, before you go to sleep, that precious real estate of attention, time, and focus belong to him. And you should be focusing on his kingdom, his agendas, his wants, cares, needs, and relationships that he wants for you. See, but what so many people do is they'll just go to church and they'll tithe, and that's it. They're giving what belongs to Caesar to God, and then what belongs to God, they give to Caesar, their time, attention, and focus, which they put into careerism, climbing that corporate ladder, which they put into materialism, how much clothes, jewelry, cars can they get, TVs, things of that nature, or nationalism. They're entrenched in the politics of the day more than they are cemented in the Bible. Now, you're supposed to tithe, don't get me wrong, but most people just tithe and then they give all of their attention over to Caesar instead of having the balance of Caesar gets the coinage, his little 30%, 40%, whatever it is, but then all of my attentions, all of my worries, all of my cares, they are aligned with what's in that book, and I know the book inside and out. I know the commandments. You are searching out different ways of serving him. That's where your attention is, not who's the new president, not what the president's gonna do, not this political party, not that political party. I'm focused on the Most High and align with him and how he's moving. That's attention, time, and focus. And I think that's the pitfall that so many people fall into as they're moving to their promised land is they fall into politics, they fall into that career pothole, they fall into that materialism pothole. One of those three potholes people fall into, and I've been a victim myself. I think I fell into 2 out of the 3. The only one that didn't get me was politics. I've never been one for politics, but careerism got me, materialism got me. But we can crawl out of those holes when we refocus on what matters, which is the Word, the manna, the Father, the Spirit, focusing on those particular things. And that's all this message was about, was don't fall in those potholes that the government puts out there for you, but instead fall in the pothole that God's dug for you so you can climb out as you build that relationship with him. You're not living right unless you're living for the second life. And I believe the only way that you live for the second life is if you are focused with your attention and your time on the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And I now realize that this slide here is really useless, but whatever. Oh, you know what? No, it's not. So as we wrap this up, remember, I'm dedicated to serving you, family, from sun up to sun down. Dedicated, family, to seeing you planted, growing, and manifesting in your promised land. Hey, and before y'all move on to your next video, let me pray for you just real quick. I pray that as you move to your hopes, your dreams, your aspirations, that you won't fall into those potholes of careerism, nationalism, and materialism. I almost forgot my 3 potholes. I did that in a different video too. But anyway, that you will stay focused on what matters, which are the intangibles that you need to give to the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, so you will live right in this first life to get to the next life, which is the second life, family. I pray that you make those sacrifices here as you're working towards the promises that are before you. Amen.
How we do it, cause we hooked to the vine. Drink the wine, get the shine, now it's mine. I've been in the cave, I've been so brave, like I'm Elijah. I've been fasting, we've been fasting, now we moving at a different kind of pace. Tell them this is how we do it, always been a different space. Yeah, it's never been about the Benjamins, it's never been about the dollars. Benjis can never take you to another place, another space, another heaven, third heaven.